Hello everyone, Shroomraver here, and today I'm really excited to be bringing you my third game in the Pokemon Premier League Season 3 Division 1. Yes indeed. Now, before we kick off, a few points of admin. First off, I'm very sorry for the delay to this video and indeed this week's videos as a whole. I was absolutely swamped last weekend. You know, I went straight from work to Brighton with some friends for the weekend. Came back on Sunday with the intention of recording all my stuff then because I hadn't had time to get it done before. But there was a massive street-wide power cut. Couldn't get anything done. So I had to wait until Monday to record sort of stuff and things. And, you know, this being that thing. And so yeah, now we come to Tuesday and I'm finally going to be able to get it uploaded. So sorry all for the delay. To that, hopefully we should be back to normal service as of next week. But here we are for Game 3. We are up against FranCTrode, my man Franc. His links will be down in the description below. Make sure you do go and check him out. Also in the description you'll find links, as always, to the PPL Twitter and YouTube for all things PPL. Follow those links, they'll tell you everything you need to know. And of course, a link to my team building analysis video that went up, was it yesterday or was it the day before? I forget, it was some time in the past. But if you want to see a full in-depth view of my team, my thought process going into this battle, why I chose to bring what I did, you can check out that video and that will tell you all of the things you need to know about that. But to go over my team real brief, we have got Scarf Blaziken, we've got sort of pseudo-speedy, bulky, defogging Mega-Scizor, we've got physically defensive Jellicent. We got a bulky, Carmined recovering Latias. We have got a mixed defensive Sylveon, and we've got Specs Tornadus Incarnate. I should say, by the way, we are on Showdown, as you will have seen. I know this is a Wi-Fi league, but you know, between Franc and myself, between me still settling in a new job, and Franc law schooling it up in Spain, you know, we had to sort of get together and say, okay, we've got to do it on Showdown. We don't have time to get a team gen. We don't have time to sort out Wi-Fi with all the issues flying around. We'll just do it on Showdown and life will be good. So that's exactly what we're going to do. Now, Franc's team, let's have a look and see what he has brought. He brought with him Hippowdon, Starmie, Mega-Gardevoir, Golbat, Stoutland and Snorlax. So, a few things to pick up on there. I got 2/3 of the team right. I figured Hippowdon will be coming, Starmie, Guard and Snorlax. No Entei, which is interesting. It kind of means that Jellicent is going to have to now play a different role. It's going to have to take on certain different threats, like the Snorlax, maybe. Well, if it's an Assault Vest Snorlax, you know, I'll be able to try and Toxic Stall it a little bit, maybe. It can hopefully take some hits from the Stoutland too. No Rotom-Mow either. That's really nice. It means he can't be Volt Switching around with impunity. He does have the potential to U-turn on the Golbat. But this is looking like a promising thing. If I can get rid of the Hippowdon, damage on the Starmie and some on the Golbat, then Blaziken can do some good work. Similarly, Tornadus, you know, other than Snorlax, he doesn't really have switch-ins to this Tornadus, especially if he's not specially bulky Mega-Var or indeed Golbat. So, yeah, those two on the end, Blaziken and Tornadus, looking to do some nice work. I need big damage on the Hippo as soon as possible. That Starmie, I need to work out if it's Scarfed or not. I'll also need to try and work out as quickly as possible what that Snorlax set is. Because if I don't realise it's cursed until too late, we're going to be in a bit of a pickle. A giant pickle. A cucumber of a pickle, one might say. But yeah, that's me rambling about the team for long enough. So without further ado, let's get right into the battle and see how things played out. So I'm going to lead off with my Mega-Scizor as Franc leads with Golbat. Now instantly I'm thinking Heat Wave. Don't take the risk, get on out of there, go into Latias, and he does in fact just go for that U-turn. Which is good for him. It means he can get the initiative and go into his Snorlax. Now, I'm going to try and set up here. I did in practice battles and it went fine. So I set up Calm Mind, looking to try and do some nice damage. He goes for Crunch, and it's max attack Snorlax. And this is looking like a bad matchup for me. Here we're going to play the recovery game. I'm fishing for a low roll if I can, but he's not playing ball. He's not getting those low rolls. So I'm just going to try and recover once more and try and get to a point where it looks like I might take another Crunch. And this is it, you know, he gets me to 48, he's done 47 before, so here, I'm going to attack with the Psyshock, it does just under half, he's going to go for the Crunch, and it is going to take me out. So early game, we're down 6-5, and it's not looking too good. But what I can do is bring in Scizor, and this is my opportunity to get some momentum and get my Mega off. Now Franc's going to go into his Hippowdon here, which is a designated counter to this guy. As we'll see here, I go for the U-turn. He reveals the Rocky Helmet, which isn't ideal. It's a bit less than ideal, but it means I can go into Tornadus, and now we play the switch-in game. Where is his switch into Tornadus? He has one that couldn't take a hit guaranteed, and that's the Snorlax. I missed the Hurricane. It doesn't matter too much. You know, it was a 2-hit KO from that range as it is, but it doesn't matter an awful lot because as you're going to see here, as I go into Scizor, Franc ends up pulling the double and going into his Golbat. Now, I'm going to go for Bullet Punch here just to try and scout what kind of Golbat we're working with. Damage that does, you're looking at Fizz Def Golbat for sure. And he's going to U-turn on out of there. He's going to try and get the initiative on me, and he's going to go into his Hippowdon to get more Rocky Helmet. But I'm okay going for it. You know, I just want to sort of get on out of there and go into something to take this thing on. And that's going to be Jellicent, as he's going to get up his Rock. So now I'm free to fire off a Scald. He doesn't have too many things that want to take it, but Golbat's one of them. This is going to be his switch in to try and take burns. So here, I'm going to be going for Scalds as he's going to be trying to roost off the damage. I'm looking to fish for the burn. It would be nice to get some residual on this thing, force the roost where I can. But as you can see, he goes for the Toxic over for my third Scald, and that burn is just not quite forthcoming enough for my liking. I don't like the way this is going. He can stall me out very easily. So, I'm going to switch into my Mega-Scizor right about now, and he's going to go for a Roost. And right here, I'm going to pause the game real quick. At this point, it's still in my head that he might have the Heat Wave. This is why I switched out the first time, and the second time I figured he wouldn't want to go for it in case I switched out again. But it's still in my head that he might have it, but there's nothing particularly I want to switch into this thing. He could well have Poison Stab to try and deal with my Sylveon, and if he's physically defensive, he'll be taking a Psyshock. Tornadus, I need this thing at lower health, ideally. Even though it's physically defensive, I'm pretty sure it's a Golbat. I can't take it out with one hit necessarily. Blaziken doesn't want to take it on too much when it has the Eviolite. And Jellicent, as we can see, can be 1v1 and stalled out. So here what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a sort of sack play, and I'm going to go for the Defog, which is going to be nice. I outspeed him, which he was not expecting. He does go for the Heat Wave, and down goes Scizor. So now it's 6-4. We're not looking good, but I can bring in Tornadus, and I'm going to go for the Hurricane. It's going to do massive damage. I am going to score the Confusion, and he hits himself. This is huge pressure on him. He now has to switch out, and he goes into Snorlax. And as you can see, that Specs Hurricane is a very nice 2-hit KO. The Confusion doesn't matter because I do outspeed, but now, very crucially, his one and only switch into Hurricane is gone. So, in comes the God of War. Now, I can't necessarily Oko him if he's bulky, so I am going to switch on out. I'm going to go into my designated switch, such as it is, which is Sylveon, and the Hyper Voice, as you can see, after leftovers, I am going to be able to take another one of those. I do have Wish, but as he goes for Hyper Voice, I am just going to go for damage with the Shadow Ball. There's no point going for Wish. I don't have Protect. So, yeah, I get a nice bit of damage on this thing, showing it is to be pretty offensive. He goes for Hyper Voice. He's going to take me out, and now it's 5 versus 3. But, once again, here he comes. Tornadus is back, and once again, Franc does not have switches. What he's going to do is make a very clever play, though. He's going to go into Hippowdon knowing that this is death. But what it means is he can set up his Sand, and now he can bring in another threat on his side, and that's the Stoutland. So, here we go. I'm going to go into my Blaziken as he goes for the Crunch, and I'm going to pause it here very quickly once again. So, what we have is this matchup of Blaziken versus the Hot Dog. Now, switching Blaziken in at this point was kind of a bit of a pseudo sack play, because what I knew I needed was Tornadus. Tornadus was about as important a Pokemon as I could get. What I kind of aimed to do here was let Blaziken go into Jellicent to stall this thing out and stall the Sand out, and then try and sweep up with my Tornadus and hope that the Starmie doesn't have a boosting item. That was basically what I saw happening here. But we learnt some things about this Stoutland in this couple of turns. I'm going to keep this video paused, and I'm going to explain exactly what through my head in this couple of turns. I was running Counter throughout this battle. That Crunch did 18.2%. Now, what do we know from that damage? Well, we didn't see Life Orb Recall, so we know it's not that. And that was not banded damage, so it's not that either. And it didn't look to be sort of Muscle Band or anything like this. But it was too... I didn't think he was going to be Scarf. Not in Sand. He's going to be wanting to mix up his moves. This is a late game sweeper kind of thing for him. So I didn't think he'd be Scarfed. He didn't need to be. He's probably EV'd to outspeed one of my fastest Scarfers anyway. So, at this point I'm hedging my bets that he is Expert Belt. to boost coverage moves like Crunch, which we've seen, probably for the Jellicent, and I imagine Fire Fang for the Scizor and, I don't know, something else, whatever that might be. Now it turns out we were right on the money and he is Expert Belt. What this means though, given that with that damage I can tell he's jolly, I'm at 76% at this point. You can't see because the resume thing's right in the way, but my Blaziken is currently at 76%. And if he's jolly maxed out without a boosting item on his return, he cannot take me out from this range. I have HP investment, he high rolls at 75%, I live with 1%, and I go for high jump kick and I take him out. So now the plan has shifted from a sack play into trying to disguise it as that, guarantee to live the hit, go for the high jump kick, it'll be a double down, and now we're going to be looking in a really good position. So, as you can see, we're on 76% after Sandstorm. He's going to go for the return. He's going to get a crit, and he takes us out to a crit. I'm going to pause again. That crit matters. We went over our sets at the end. That crit absolutely matters. And what that means is that it's 2 on 4, and his dog is still here with a couple of turns of sand left, and that was so critical. If you'll pardon the pun, which I didn't even mean to make, it's salt in the wound for me for saying it. But Blaziken goes down. It would have been a really nice thing to just live that hit, go for the high jump kick, and then it would be 3 on 2, and things would be looking a little bit more interesting. But as it is, now I have to play defensive. I have to stall out these turns, so I go into Jellicent to do exactly that. He goes for the Crunch here, and it's not doing too much. I can recover here and stall out another turn. Now, this is his opportunity to go into his Golbat and get a Roost off on my recover stall. But I see that coming. I do go for Scald this turn, and down goes the Golbat. So Jellicent picks up a KO. Now, 3 on 2 situation. In comes the Mega-Gardevoir. I can take a hit. He goes for the Hyper Voice. He does get a crit. Didn't matter. It was a 2-hit KO anyway with toxic damage. I go for damage with the Shadow Ball. Now, I'm going to go down to Toxic. And now it's 3 on 1. In comes Tornadus. Pause. 3 on 1. It is time for Tornadus to be a hero. He's already picked up 2 KOs so far. Gardevoir goes down to any hit, we know this. Starmie is OHKO'd by Hurricane, and if he doesn't have HP investment, that Stoutland is looking to be OHKO'd as well. So now it's just a question of certain factors. Is his Starmie got a boosting item? Because it outspeeds me naturally anyway. Does he have a boosting item? If he doesn't have a boosting item, I will live any one hit. And then I just need to hit my Hurricanes, and we are going to be home free, and I'm going to drag this back from the jaws of defeat. So, here we go. I outspeed this thing. Hurricane takes it out easy. 1 down, 2 to go. In comes the Starmie. I'm praying he's not Life Orb. He goes for Ice Beam. I live the hit. Turns out he was Colberberry, probably for the Scarf Crook, and I take him out with the Hurricane. It is a one-on-one situation. Pause. This game is coming right down to the wire, right? I have my Tornadus, who is putting an absolute showing so far. He has been an absolute trooper. 4 KOs in the game. He is really single-handedly carrying my team right now. He has got his Stoutland in. Now, we went over our sets towards the end. I am timid, max investment in special attack with choice specs. His Hotudogu over there, his Stoutland, has, I believe, 108 investment in HP, which was what was left over after he sped correct whatever he needed to. Now, Stoutland is naturally bulky. What this means, ladies and gentlemen, is I have what I believe was a 12.5% chance to OHKO. I also have the confusion chance from Hurricane, and I wouldn't be praying to the RNG gods if I didn't have to. This is make or break. I need a good roll, or I need some hacks in my favour. I know I outspeed. We click play. You know, it kills me every time I see that. At the crucial time, we miss the Hurricane. We never get the chance to see if I would have OHKO'd. We never get the chance to see if I would have confused him. We never get the chance to see if he'd have hurt himself in confusion, because we missed the Hurricane at the crucial time. And yeah, that's the game. That was a bitter pill to swallow. Last week we played Sly. I was out-prepped. I was outgunned. I was outplayed. I was outperformed in every way, shape and form. I can't be mad about that. this one got to me a little bit. If I'd been live commenting this, the response would have been hilarious because I lost my shit when I missed that Hurricane. Now, we went over it afterwards, you know, as we do, and we talked about how it was a very small chance for me to take that win. And, you know, Franc, he was incredibly apologetic, nothing less than I would expect from him. He is the consummate gentleman. He was incredibly apologetic, but you know what? That's Pokemon, that's what happens. I would be lying if I said I didn't deserve it. The hacks against me, that is. You know, we look back to last season, and I've been in his position before. You know, against Sly, for example, against Alex. I've been in that position. I have been the beneficiary of hacks in my favour, and now I am the victim of it. So I guess that's karmic retribution for you. It's a bitch, but yeah. I guess Tornadus did well, you know, that was nice on a personal level. It's never gone more than 1-1 in any of my sort of games I've had before in League format, you know, as I say, previous weekend in the jokey AbCab league that we did for a little bit. So that was nice on a personal level. There's a few underperforming mons there. Mega-Scizor's not doing as well as I would like at this point. Latias too, but you know, that's a good win for Franc. He's sitting at 1-2, and what that means is so are we. Parasect Germain are at our lowest ebb ever. We have never had a losing record in our history in League. We have never had a losing record before. We're still not in negative differential. We are at differential of 0. I believe this puts us 6th on the table at the moment, which is okay, you know. For 1 win and 2 losses, I'll take that at the moment. We just have to rebuild from here. And we just have to make sure we win all the rest of our games, you know. And there are no easy games this season. And never was that more underlined than with our next game. Because whilst it's very important for us to win our next game, next week we play Fufu. Sam, the Hacks God himself, he has been out of the game for a while, but he, obviously, as you probably know, he won the first iteration of the D-League. And this season he is on fire. Like, his performances have been clinical. There's no other word for it. They've been clinical. He has just meticulously taken teams apart in his first 2 games. I won't spoil the result of the 3rd game. But in his first 2 games, he's been clinical. He has taken teams apart. He has run gimmicks. He has run them effectively. He has run power. He has run bulk. He's using the team that he drafted to its perfect extent. It's doing everything it should, and it's very scary to take that on. But you know, we're going to try. It doesn't matter that we're our lowest ebb. That's fine, we can get back into this. And never, ladies and gentlemen, has your support been more important to us. You know, we're at 1-2, we need your support. We are Parasect Germain. We're not some 2-bit Nidoqueen's Park Rangers. I'm not Raikwin. I would never turn my back on the PPL universe like he has. Oh, I'm Nidoqueen's Park Rangers, shut up, Roy. I value your support every single day, you know that. So, ladies and gents, never has it been more important for me to say, keep supporting Parasect Germain, guys. Doesn't matter what we're 1-2, we are still, as ever, going for the top. But, that's a story for another time. So, thank you all very much for watching. I do hope that you've enjoyed. Sorry once again for the lateness of the videos. Remember, of course, links in the description. Make sure you check out FranCTrode, just do it, you know, he's a lovely person, he is fantastic, check him out, his links are down there, PPL, Twitter and YouTube, they're down there as well, make sure you check them out. Next week, we face off against Fufu, so that's going to be a fantastic game. I'm really looking forward to that one. It's always a pleasure to play against him, he's another lovely guy. But as I say, that's a story for another time. But I've rambled on for far too long, so I am going to get out of here. So my final thank you to you all for watching, and I guess with that, I'll see you next time. Laters.